As I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of purpose-driven customers and partners in the room. And as I've traveled over the last year, one of the companies that has stood out as being very purpose-driven with a purpose-driven leader is Magellan Health. And Magellan Health has a very purpose-driven leader who's going to join us today, Pat Tourigny. Pat is the SVP of HR Shared Services. And Magellan Health has a very strong purpose of leading humanity to healthy and vibrant lives. It's a fabulous company. They provide 1 in 10 Americans with mental, physical, and pharmacy services. And Magellan Health is a great example where a purpose-driven leader in a purpose-driven company is using ServiceNow to enhance the quality of their employees' lives so those employees can then serve their customers, in many cases, saving those customers' lives. So we're going to roll a brief video introducing you to Magellan Health, and then Pat Tourigny is going to come out with our very own Pat Wadors, our Chief Talent Officer, and have a conversation. So let's roll the video.
Magellan Health is a specialty healthcare company. We specialize in complex areas of healthcare, and we work with some of society's most needy populations.
We started to implement our strategy around really actively driving to create the workplace of the future. It allows you to focus on the work that needs to be done, not any of the trappings around that. And human resources is all about creating capability of our people.
When you think about empathy, I do think that that has a huge impact on what we're doing. It really truly is about creating an experience here, an environment that people want to work in. What we're trying to do is help our employees use technologies in ways they haven't before. And we've created a portal that's very clean, it's engaging.
Vern is our virtual employee resource network, and it is our customer-facing side of the ServiceNow portal. We've tried to personify it so people feel a connection.
We didn't think, how would this make this easier for HR? We were thinking, how would this feel to our employees? How can we make it easier for them? What experience can we create that'll make this so fun and so simple that there's nothing to resist?
All of the information is there. It's changed the way I work on a daily basis. I'm so much more productive.
We're all here at Magellan to lead humanity to healthy, vibrant lives. It's a huge task. It's really important. And I think that if you bring empathy into it, it just makes it so much easier for all of us to work together.
Please welcome Senior Vice President, HR Shared Services for Magellan Health, Pat Tourigny, and Chief Talent Officer of ServiceNow, Pat Wadors.
Thanks.
This is incredible, Pat.
It's so cool.
This is amazing. So I want to get right to it. I am so humbled to be on the stage with you today.
Oh my goodness, the feeling's mutual.
I'm so excited. So Pat and I have spent some time together. We've had dinner, we've chatted. I've gotten to know an amazing human being. And I had the privilege of hearing how purpose actually manifests itself not only at the company, which really matters because we touch so many lives, but also in your personal life. Mm-hmm. And I think purpose drives just amazing outcomes and gives us the sense of who we are. And if you don't mind, could you just share to a few of my friends your story and how purpose has impacted you personally and professionally?
Oh, I'd be happy to, Pat. Thank you. You know, we talked about this yesterday, and I said no one is more surprised that I'm here on the stage today than I am. Because while none of us really knows what will happen in our lifetimes, most of us kind of get from one place to the other with few or no detours. But that wasn't the case for me. So when I started out, I had a simple plan to build a career in HR and start and raise a family. And when I went back to work, I started to feel unwell. And I searched for probably 2.5 years for answers. And one day, I was rushed to a hospital emergency room. I was told I have stage 3B colon cancer, and eventually was told, Pat, you have a 3% chance to survive. So it was just a huge detour, obviously. I faced 4 years of surgery and hospitalization and chemo and radiation, but all during that time, I didn't focus on the probable outcomes or statistics. I focused on my purpose, my family. At the time, my children were very young, and they needed me, and I needed to be there for them. And I learned so many lessons during that time, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in this audience that have gone through the same thing and have learned lessons. But two that really have stuck with me are knowing my purpose and leading with empathy. And that's really changed how we've worked, how I work with my teams, and how I hope to inspire them to work as well.
Wow, that's incredible. And I know that as you go back in the workforce and you carry this life lesson, it changes how we look at the workplace. And John and I have shared with ServiceNow employees that we are servant leaders. Mm-hmm. And we have a growth mindset, and we try to do what's right and what's best for the employees, and always thinking about that lens. And in your unique role as head of shared services, you are able to craft, in a beautiful way, I'm quite impressed, the people, the experience, and empathy in how you serve them. Now, that's hard to do. It sounds simple, but bringing the human, the empathy into shared services, come on, that's hard. So can you give us a little bit of insight, a couple of hints, some tricks on how you keep that true to what you do for Magellan?
Yeah. Well, I think it really starts with all of us knowing our purpose. So my team and I, our focus is two priorities, the candidate experience and the employee experience. So we ask ourselves every day, is what we're doing going to have a positive impact on that? And if the answer is no, then we don't do it. So our purpose is really, really clear. And when we put ourselves sort of in the proverbial shoes of others, and we work in a way that shows how much we care, we're usually successful. And so when we kind of keep those two things in mind, that we know our purpose and we lead with empathy, we do feel that we're successful, and we're able to shift the focus from us to the employee, to the people we're trying to serve.
That's awesome. And we saw a little bit in the clip. I have real FOMO. I love Vern.
I love Vern, too.
I love Vern. I want to have Vern. So tell me more about Vern. Tell us more about Vern.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we decided to roll out this solution, we really had some ideas at the beginning of how we were going to do this. And one of those sort of terms and conditions was that it was always about the employee first. It wasn't about HR. This was not to make our lives easier. It was really to help our employees. And so every decision we made, everything we talked about, always started with the employee. So even the name Vern, that was a name that our employees voted on. Vern means Virtual Employee Resource Network. And what you'll notice is there's no HR in there.
None.
It's all about the employee. It's all about them and helping them get their work done.
So, besides loving Vern, I want a button. Culture plays a huge part. I have a personal belief that culture and talent beat strategy all week long. And how does the culture of Magellan, how does the culture manifest itself in your services, and how you think through those problems and those opportunities?
Well, as a healthcare company, we definitely have a culture of caring. But we also do have a massive transformational purpose, which is leading humanity to healthy, vibrant lives. And so all of our employees, all 10,000 of us, we get up every day ready to go to work with that in mind. And regardless of your job, there's a way that it fits into that. And that's what we're trying to help everyone do. And in our area, in HR and shared services, we really do focus on how does what we do help our employees lead people to healthy, vibrant lives. So we're trying to connect that purpose and that empathy throughout everything that we do.
So in terms of designing an employee experience, I geek out on looking at the employee life cycle from attract land them, onboard them, all through those moments that matter, and then to offboarding to their next amazing adventure. In terms of how you're looking at employee, services, how do you focus on those moments that matter? How do you discern what are the right areas to make sure that you have the right answers or you're leaning into the right key moments?
Well, we have to listen to the employees to find out what they need and where they are. And so that's kind of how we do it. But really, when I mentioned before, our focus is on that candidate and employee experience. All of the work that we're doing is really created to make it amazing so that even before you even know you want to work at Magellan, you know about our culture, you know about our purpose, and we've created a whole talent brand around this, and we take that into when you become a new hire and beyond. We're still working on that and growing with it, but it's definitely a huge focus for us because we understand that employee experience is the most important part.
Yeah, people leave managers. They leave when they can't get their answers and they feel they're not supported. And what I think of when I look at our employee base, it's not the person in front of me, it's the people that surround them at home, it's their families, it's the people they care for. And I am quite impressed with what you're doing. I love how you're bringing empathy in the center of the employee experience, keeping the human in it. And I love your sense of humor. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing your
You're
story.
so welcome. It was a thrill to be here. Thank you so much.
Please join me thanking Pat.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pat.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. Okay, thank you. How about another round of applause for Pat and Pat?